So do you have another email, maybe with some other great suggestions?
I do, and this kind of picks up on where we started in terms of the first email. Mm-hmm. Letting negative input from my friends and family get to me is the worst. I recently decided to start exercising more, only to have my friends constantly put me down and tell me that I'm fat.
Oh, jeez.
Right. That leads to me not exercising and becoming more depressed.
Oh.
I have to constantly block out the negative and cruel people, but in doing so, I'm getting stronger and more able to believe in myself. Funny that the people who should be the most supporting can be the cruelest and most damaging to you.
So do you think people I think we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, particularly from parents, they're not trying to be mean, they're just trying to be helpful. And, I mean, calling someone fat is definitely probably not helpful unless you're in boot camp and it's Sergeant Carter, and then maybe then, it's not very that helpful. But, I mean, do you think that's... what is that about?
I really take exception to they're always trying to be helpful.
Yeah.
I think that there are a lot of people who are not trying to be helpful. There are a lot of abusers out there, and sometimes they do it in a nice way, but their niceness and way of doing it prevents you from living the life that you want. And sometimes they do it in a very cruel way to hold you back. Abusers have a win-lose mindset. And people who are on the receiving end of abuse have a win-win. They think everybody's out to be good and to help each other, and we live in this wonderful world. And they don't understand why people keep hitting them over the head, literally or figuratively, and saying mean things to them. I mean, what could your motivation possibly be to tell someone they're fat when they're exercising and wanting to do something healthy for themselves?
Mm-hmm.
What those people are doing is intentionally creating a negative environment for her, which makes her feel helpless, like she'll never be able to achieve her goals.
Yeah.
And so it's up to her to not only block out those negative and cruel people, but to remove them from her life.
I was going to say, they're not friends.
No, they're not. They're not the kinds of friends that are healthy and that we want to have in a healthy life. And there's a transition when you're choosing life and choosing to have a good life, that you have to say no to the negatives in your life. And that can mean people, it can mean a marriage, it can be other family members, it can be friends, it can be people who you've known all your life, or they can be casual friends, it can be work, it can be an apartment manager. We have to look bit by bit at what's going on in our life and who the people are who are cruel and aren't changing. Sometimes we can say, that really hurt. I wish you wouldn't talk to me like that. When you do, I'm going to leave the room or whatever. And you set boundaries. You tell people what you want, and you tell them what you're going to do if you don't get it. In a positive way. I mean, I'm not going to hit you over the head or, smash you into the door, but if you don't treat me properly, I'm walking out of the room, I'm walking out of the house. If it continues, I'm divorcing. Whatever it is, or I'm leaving this friendship, don't call me. And block that number. Change your cell phone number. Do what you have to do to create positive, supportive people in your life.